Oh.
No.
Shit. Don't tell Daniel I got beer all over his chair. Welcome to episode 104 of Comedy Guy with Louis Zezeran. It's the few days before midsummer. You know what it's like in Estonia right now. We're hot as fuck, baby. If you're not watching the video, I'm here in my Australian wife beater and my shorts, and I am joined by Mr. Martin Junna. How you doing, Martin?
Good. Sweating all the time. Reminds me the time when I was in Chicago, but less rooms have air conditioning.
That's cool that you told me that story about that, because now anytime any of the Ruutu10 guys mention Chicago, I've noticed you guys love dropping it in conversations. Did I mention we were in Chicago a little while ago? And I'm like, yeah, that's the one international thing. That's great. So we're here today just to have a relaxed chat, to catch up. It's been a few weeks since Martin and I have just talked where we're at. So current situation, shows are on. Technically still 50% attendance at venues, but that only seems to count for official things. If it's unofficial, show up on the night. I'm not seeing much 50%. You seeing much 50% going on anywhere?
No.
Nothing.
Everyone is by the book.
Yeah, do you remember what country you live in again? I don't know. So we're opening up. Comedy Estonia, we're doing some shows. We've got stuff going on, plenty of mics, a few Ari shows, a few of Ardo shows. But also this week and even last week, I mean, it's so hot and it's all about midsummer, so we have a little break right now. How have you been?
Well, I'm busy. Every year I'm like thinking, summer, I'm gonna have so much free time. But every summer, we're gonna do a lot of reforms or updates to our system in Ruutu10. So this summer is no exception.
Okay, so it's a summer cleaning tradition that you've got to check what you do and to make some. So tell us about what you do.
So for example, one thing, how we track our financial things and our projects. So we've it's not the most optimal way. So now we are thinking and planning how we could do it different this next season.
Okay. All right. Wow. We're getting into accounting, really hitting those hot comedy guy topics right now. But fuck it, we'll get into it. So, where to start? Is there some way without we're going too deep into the Estonian tax code that you can give us what you need to optimize here? What's the issue?
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell how we've been doing it and how we want to do it the next season. We'll have to, of course, talk with the accountant. Maybe this won't happen, but so for now we've done it like this. So we have let's say we have an event. So we have an organizer who organizes the events. He makes a tab to the Google spreadsheets and these are the profits, these are the costs. So everything that happens, he'll type in them.
So one show is one sheet on a Google spreadsheet. On tab.
No. One project, and the project can have many. For example, if we take open mics, open mic will have one sheet, and every open mic will have it there. But there is a problem. And the problem is that the thing that accountant is doing is kind of the same thing, but the accountant version is the official version. So we are also doing it, and you might miss. You didn't write something in, or these problems occur. So how we've solved it is every 3 months or so we're gonna have we are gonna do the checkup. So it usually takes 3 or 5 hours, which is excruciating. So you just check that if everything is marked, and I don't want to spend 5 hours doing that. So now what we're thinking of doing is since the accountant is doing it either way, why don't we just let the accountant do that, and once per month he'll send, or she, whoever does that in that firm sends, will be probably she'll send the what it's called,
The
report, yeah, like this event, this cost, this event, that cost, and then we'll put that in the file, so we'll have a very good overview with the project. So yeah, this is one thing that we are kind of doing a reform.
All right. Let's stop and talk about that, because I got thoughts
All right.
about how this goes. So to back up, what we're doing here is that every event, or ideally every show, has a profit, has incomes, which could be ticket sales, mostly ticket sales, either pre-sales or at the door. Let's just say it's mostly ticket sales. And then there are expenses for a show. Rent, petrol, backstage rider, hookers for Daniel, something like this, right? So there's all those things that go: rent, stage props, marketing. You have to do some Facebook ads or whatever that might be, print some posters out. And so then at the end of the show, you collate your incomes and then your expenses, and you work out a profit. All right, we got this bit, I understand. But the difficult part is that you need to, if you spend it, you got to write it on a spreadsheet. So you've got to put it somewhere. And that can often get lost if you don't have sort of a slick operation. And it can be, right? It takes procedure to make sure that each receipt is accounted for.
Yeah, in theory, it already seems so simple, but in practice, like somebody gives you money a day after, or like all this crazy shit is happening that you don't think about it, and then like it's messing up that simple system.
Sure. So that's what you keep on your spreadsheet, and you're like, well, I just paid the rent invoice for 100 euros, let's say, so I write rent 100 into a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Now the difficulty can be that there are expenses that you forget to write into your version, but if you've spent it, the accountant sees it, because what the accountant does is go over your bank statement and he's like, what was this? What's that? Give me and you've got to have an invoice for each of those, and it's a fucking problem if you don't have an invoice.
Or a check.
So then the accountant is matching everything up, and then the accountant says, well, here's the expenses I see from your account. Here's the profits I can also see. And here's what I think. And then you've got your own version of the spreadsheet. And you're like, I forgot that Remy receipt. I forgot that off our...
Yeah, and when you look at that like 3 months back, like, what did we buy from Remy? Does anyone remember?
Whoever knows, does anyone have that invoice? So we've got to have some procedure for getting all those little bits of paper and taking them away from comedians or organizers who have a million things on their mind, so we can't let them just... I mean, it's fucking weird, but this is the accounting side of showbiz, right? Like, you've got to keep track of all this. And it's so they can get out of whack. What you think is the reality, because you've missed some invoices or you haven't done a sum correctly, is different to the real reality that the accountant is looking at.
Like in Google spreadsheet, you'll have this amount of money, and then you look at your bank account, you're like, well, those aren't the same numbers.
Are you doing this with project codes to separate expenses with the accountant?
Not yet. I don't know.
Okay, so what we do, first thing we have is we have project codes. So
for like the invoice.
We've decided. So Ari's tour has its own project code, and every expense gets put into the accounting system for Ari's tour under that code, and then you can pull up a report.
We haven't done it, but we are probably will do it in the next season. Yes.
Right. So. I had to have an accountant friend of mine sit me down, and I was like, what do I do with this mess? And he was like, do this. What project codes? And it seemed like the simplest thing, but it had the profoundest change, because then that's how you can make a project code for anything. It can be one just for one show, or it can be one for a tour, depending on the level of report that you need. So you got to keep that in track. Okay. However, we don't want to talk too much of the black market economy, but you may have income coming in as cash.
Yeah.
So is that recorded on the accountant side as well?
Not yet.
Sure, that's fine. I guess. Look,
but we're not. It is recorded in our spreadsheet.
Yes.
But like the reality is, well, we're not like paying salary for it. But what we are sometimes doing is like, I'm gonna buy this candy for this workshop. I'll buy it from the cash, because then I don't have to have the receipt, put it in, send it to 200 activities just so I can buy a €2 candy.
Right, but let's go back to your spreadsheet that shows your report of a show, right? Isn't the difficulty that if you're looking only at the accountant's view, which is a real thing you need to look at, but that isn't necessarily sometimes also reflecting if you got cash at the door or something like that?
So yeah, we'll definitely we'll keep track of the cash paid, and since like the idea is that the report will come from the accountant, will add those numbers into the project, and we also have the cash.
Oh, okay, I see where you're going.
Yeah.
So I guess. Yeah, okay. So, sorry, I'm moving our whole mic situation here. What we might do there is about 5 of us all have company cards. So we have the company account, and was that someone coming in there?
Yeah.
Earlier? Oh, you fucking...
I didn't see his face.
And 5 of us have company cards. And like kind of the proviso is you can buy anything you want. Like they're all employees, or Santa's got one. They're all reason. Like if you need to get it, go get it, right? Just keep the invoice and we'll work it out later. So very strongly that whoever you buy with a company card, then someone's got to have that invoice. If you don't, this is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And then after that makes it a little bit easier to track. We've still got invoices, or you got to get all those receipts and everything.
Yeah, we also have many bank cards, but I think for the next season we're gonna have only 1 or 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Just because we've had cases where we don't have that invoice.
Sure, so you got to work on that. Yeah.
So
I've done like I give Sandra a little envelope that he's supposed to stick in the glove box of his car, and every time he gets an invoice, just put it in there, bro, and I'll come and take him out later.
So yeah, I think we'll go with you'll pay with your money and keep the invoice, and we'll refund it.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going there. So these are all the things, right? How to handle all these little small amounts of money, how to make it efficient enough that you're motivated to actually want to use the system and not go around it with some cash, whatever thing that you're talking about. If there seems like there's trying to strike that balance between we need an efficient system that we can work on the go, we got to do stuff, but there's still formality, there's still the need to track these things.
Another thing, what we found is you in a bank, you can, for example, you have your company bank account, and you can make like a different, what it's called, I don't know. You'll have a different, you can have many accounts in your one big account.
Sure, okay.
This makes sense, right? But like we've had like many accounts there. So for example, we're making a project. We get funding from whoever gives out the project money. So we'll make another account for that money. So we'll keep it all there, so we accidentally don't spend it. But what we found out that we should have told that to an accountant also, because he doesn't see that. So we're like, damn it.
So you got multiple accounts. Is this some requirement of government money?
No.
Money?
It was just for us, so it would be indifferent, but it made so much more trouble.
Look, I get as well there are some things that you think like, oh, we're small time, this will make a difference. And there's one thing that I notice with other groups, and not just you or Comedy Estonia, is that one sign that you're being a goddamn fucking amateur is if you are not registered for VAT and you think that you're doing this as some sort of tax scam. This tells me that you are fucking amateur hour and that you don't know what's up. Are you guys registered for VAT? Have I just shut over your accounting strategy?
Well, let me.
Do you have a VAT number?
No, we are not. If I like, let me get this straight. You mean that you have to pay 20% to add your
Sure. So if
you
your
mean this,
company is VAT registered, you get a VAT number, and then you need to put 20% on the top, which is like if you go to Rimi, you can see it right there, broken down. There's the amount plus that. It's really up to you whether you say your price to somebody and then you say includes VAT or not.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very typical in private show business. You say it without VAT. Oh, our fee is 500, and then 500 plus VAT just in case it's unsure.
Yeah. All right. Then I understood correctly, and then I VAT. So since we have two businesses, then neither of them are VAT. So we have the what's the
Fear. No, you're OU, but you're just not registered for VAT.
Yes.
Right.
So the OU does the private gigs. So it's a super simple accounting.
Okay.
We like that. And the MTU, what's that?
MTU, yeah. Non-profit.
Yeah, non-profit. That's also not in VTA. And since the profit numbers aren't that big, then we don't have to be.
Sure.
So we found it I think it's easier for us for this way, but
there's so much there. Okay, a few times recently, I've had people that either want to work with us or do shows or some partners, whether that be venues or tickets or all sorts of stuff. And someone wanted to sell something on our Comedy Estonia web shop. And we're like, cool, yeah, we can sell those tickets. We've got there. We'll help you out, no problems. And then they said, oh, no. Comedy Estonia is VAT registered. So we'd have to charge 20% extra. And we're going to go with this other guys because this other company doesn't have VAT registered, so there doesn't need to be VAT. And we'll save the 20%. And when someone tells me that, because if you sell on Comedy Estonia web shop, we're VAT registered. We're going to have to add the VAT, right? If someone says, oh, I'm not going to do that because I have to pay 20% extra VAT and I can save 20% if we do this through a non-VAT registered company, all I'm hearing is this fucking amateur hour and you don't know how accounting works. And not and even to your situation, Martin, I don't want to say you guys don't know accounting, but they're sort of, when people sort of do, they go, well, if I don't register for VAT, I don't have to charge that 20% extra. I can be 20% less, or even if the ticket still sells for 10, then I keep that extra 20%. And it sounds like some great shit. It's not. It is a world of fuckery to not. I think it's more. Okay, what you're saying is at your level, you feel like it's a simpler solution and it's more straightforward for you.
Yeah, I'll also add this, that it's not because of what you just explained.
Yeah.
That's not the reason.
Sure.
Also, since we are buying in, if you're VTA registered, was it VTA or
VAT?
VAT. If you're VAT registered, that's not the acronym I use very often in English. So if you're VAT registered, so you can have the VAT back what you bought, right?
Correct.
So, but we're not buying that many things. So in that sense, we are it doesn't make sense to have VAT because
this is why I call it amateur. Anyway, sure. So the idea of VAT is that if I'm VAT registered, I might take 20% of tickets, $10, so there's €2 VAT. But then over here, I've bought something with VAT and they get cancelled out. And so it's not, if you've got incomings and outgoings from a business, it's actually not so bad to do and not that hard to understand. I think I understand why you're there and I understand why you're doing it. And I would say it's one of those things. It's like moving into this studio. Okay. We're in the other studio, the small one over there. You've been to a few times already. And it kind of was all right. It was a bit tight, but we were like, nah. And then Ari and Mika are like, we need a bigger room. And the rest of us are all like, what? I mean, it's a bit tight, but we don't want to pay more money and that's it. And then I understood no. And they're like, no, this is for the future. we need to do this for the future. We need to get this right. And we're like, I don't know. Like doing VAT properly is like doing something good for the future. Like you won't be able to scale and grow if you stay at that level. It's like we're pro, we're going to do it the correct way, even if the numbers don't add up at some stage, right? I'm trying to say you got to take that leap, even if it doesn't seem like, oh, it's big enough for you.
I think if the corona wouldn't have hit, we would have had to go VAT. So we definitely will go someday. I don't know if it will be next season, maybe the season after that.
So, all right. So we're looking at, you're dealing with your VAT.
Oh, I want to add this about the tickets. I've never maybe sometimes I've thought about in this way how you explained with, I don't want to deal with this because I'll take the 20%. But when I finance my projects or in Ruutu10, that's also something we do during the summer. We're gonna look all the pricings if we need to change it. So I need, for example, I need 10 euros from that event. So I'm gonna add 10 euros and then the VAT will be on top of that. So it won't be like, I can't charge 10 euros now. I have to charge 8 euros and some cents.
Yeah, it gets when you're sort of like, just charge more.
Yeah.
Or when you're
just,
trying to...
put your price and then the VAT will...
Yeah, it's not so bad. I mean, we're very price sensitive and we always have been. So I do... Because in the beginning, the reason I guess I'm so opinionated on this is also because I was this stupid one in the beginning as well. That's the reason why there was Comedy Estonia OU, and that was not VAT registered. And then after a while, it became clear that we needed to be VAT registered. And this is way back in the beginning, 8 years ago or something. We needed also. So I was like, but no, this shit's great over here not being VAT registered. So I just incorporated a second company that intended to be VAT registered. And that's where Zezeran Consulting came along because I just wanted a really generic name that I didn't think that was going to be the primary company. I thought I'll have Comedy Estonia not register for VAT and I'll still do not VAT things over there and save the 20, and then I'll have a Zezeran that'll have the VAT and I'll do that. And I thought I have these two, and how fucking wrong I was. So wrong to think that I was going to shave off some tax in the middle somehow by having one unregistered and one that was absolute amateur hour. So now I'm like, no, just register for the VAT, do it properly, get a proper accountant to look over your stuff, which you've already got. And that's the reason why now, if you go to buy a Comedy Estonia ticket from Pilotelevi, it says Zezeran Consulting. My dumbass stupid name is on every single Pilotelevi, thousands of them that we sell, because I thought this was going to be the secondary VAT one. And I think we ended up even shutting down Comedy Estonia in the end. We didn't need it. It was sat there doing nothing for years.
All right, that's very interesting. Wait, but how come? Yeah, why is VAT then so much better?
Because you have that ability to get the VAT back from the purchases you make as well. So we have the ticket sales where we are taking VAT from people. It's a 10 euro ticket. We keep 2 and every month the government wants me to give their money. But any expenses we have, we don't have to count the VAT as such. We've got enough VAT credits that if we have an expense, it's the non-VAT part of that we put on the thing.
I thought maybe there's more.
It's sort of and once you get going, it's that's the way the system's supposed to work. Actually, the not VAT actually feels like fighting against the system a bit.
Yeah.
Trying to find some loopholes and some ways to move it around to save that 20%.
Yeah.
And you find that as soon as you get to any amount of money that's reasonable to make that 20% I saved enough, you're like, let's say it's $1,000, right? So then you're like, oh, I saved my 200, I've done great. But by the time you start doing thousands at a time, you start going I should be legitimate. I should stop fucking around with this, kind of two things. So, okay, and you've got a good accountant?
Yes.
Okay, this is nice. This is what you need.
Yeah. Yeah, we at first we did our own accounting. Not a good idea. Never do that.
Okay, good advice here from Martin.
Yeah.
Don't do your own accounting.
Yeah.
Have a good accountant,
Yeah.
even though it costs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel it too.
Mhm.
We have a good accountant. We can ask questions. She'll help with all kinds of stuff, even I don't know, contractual things, or
Yeah.
when someone's an employee, not an employee. She handles all of that.
Mhm.
Sick days, leaves, VATs, dividends, payouts, everything. It's great.
Yeah.
And also, I guess the advice here is that I think, try to find someone who's not part of a big accounting company. You're a small company, and we found it better. We've got an accountant. She probably has independent contractor. She probably has like 5, 6, I don't know, who knows, 10 different companies she looks after. But we get like personal service. She knows everything about the company, and it's great. Like we used to have it, like we started years ago with a company, and I had an accountant, and then they got bought, and then they got bought, then they got bought, and then all of a sudden I'm having an accounting meeting on the fucking 10th floor of the Delta Plaza looking over Thailand. I'm like, this does not suit us. This company has grown too much that now we're not getting personal service anymore. So we got back to an independent contractor, and we're much happier with that.
Yeah. The consultant hours are very, very useful.
Okay, you mean they can add? What do you mean consultant hours is used?
So I need to check our contract, but it's like I can have a chat with my accountant for a more concrete example. For our next season, I want to have this new financial way of how we're doing it, so I can have I can have a chat with our accountant and like, hey, how you see how we should do it? All right, can we do it this? No, all right, then we can like make it like how it's supposed to go and be smooth.
Makes sense. Yeah, to have someone who. Yeah, right, and not like have an accountant that like not every 15 minutes is on the clock.
Yeah. Exactly.
You write a question, all of a sudden that was a €20 billable, and you're like, whew, okay, that's going to add up real friggin' fast.
Yeah.
Now, certainly we want to reward people for their work, but some sort of different structure that allows you to ask those smaller ad hoc questions. Maybe they don't get answers straight away. Maybe she takes a day. Cool, but there's some easier way for that.
Yeah, then it can also be like a contract that every month you have, I don't know, an hour of consulting.
Okay.
So it's worth it.
So having that personal. So, okay, accounting. I'm trying to think. So coming back to what you said with the dynamic between adding up what the accountant does and, how your own version of it, we typically don't, we only, double cross-check them, I guess. We only cross-check with the accountant with our version for a bigger tour. So I think Ari, Sander, maybe, I guess by the time we do summer tour, that's enough, autumn tour. So a few of the bigger tours, but a comedy night, preview week, I don't think we did that. It's a very good thing at the upper end. We often find all kinds of stuff. So we'll do it for autumn tour. And then we have our sheet, and then the accountant says what they think it is, and it's like 5,000 off, and we're like, ugh, all right, we got to dig through this shit. And it has helped us find formula errors, has helped us just expenses that we've missed, but only on the bigger things. I think that we take that time for it.
Yeah. I think one thing that we're also doing, which might disappear, but I'm not planning on this vanquishing it next season. But and you can tell me how it's in Comedy Estonia, but I don't think you're doing this thing. That, for example, if you're doing a workshop for Ruutu10, you're the instructor, you are getting paid for that. Right now, you'll have an option, because not everyone can be an instructor. So you go through the system, we'll have like a small group of people who can be an instructor. So you'll get paid for that, but you have an option. We can pay it for your salary, or we can leave it on the account. So, for example, you earn, I don't know, €300. You can have it for a salary. It will be some around 150, or you can all have it in your account. And you can use it to, if you're taking a workshop, you can use that money, or you're doing a rehearsal, you pay for the rent, and this way you'll have like 150 extra euros for your expenses that you are producing inside of Ruutu10. Yes.
Yep. We do exactly the same thing.
Okay.
So each of our comedians, anyone who's basically earned money, has their own list. Some are more complex things for the more professional comedians, and others are just a simple list down a page, expense, income, we're earned 50 for this, but spent for that, plus minus.
Yeah.
So some are like that. And it's a great solution because for a number of reasons, it's a great solution. One is that comedians often want to leave their money. I mean, they get to save more of it if they don't cash out. What we do as well is another way that you can spend your money is, do you need something? We'll buy it with the company account. So you need something. And going back to our VAT thing, so if it costs 500, let's say, I'll only go minus 400 off your account because we don't need to factor in the VAT because that VAT is being offset from the rest of our VAT.
Yeah.
So there's a little way as well that comedians can scrape out a little bit more if you need to buy a TV, whatever, anything that's a business expense, right?
Right, but
that's a legitimate business expense.
Yeah, well, actually, that brings up another question. If your comedian buys a laptop, and you'll buy it with the company money, then technically that laptop belongs to the company.
Sure.
And it has to be like accounted for like this, and then there's a for every year it also has
depreciation value.
Yeah, it goes down. You have to keep that in charge.
Sure. So the accountant sees an invoice for a laptop and does what the accountant does.
Oh.
She doesn't need to check in and see the laptop every year. She just knows that there was an asset, it's got a value, and bada boom, bada bing. Doesn't matter if it's sitting in someone's home or sitting in the office. It's the same.
All right. No problem there.
I'm pretty sure this is legit. I kind of feel like we are doing legit, like we are paying the taxes when it's paid out of salary. We pay dividends. I feel like we're just doing proper accounting. This isn't like illegal.
Yeah, I don't think
these are all legal business practices that we're doing.
But I do have a feeling that if he's buying it for personal use, like it should be bought with a personal money.
Well then, okay, so what is a laptop? How much is for personal use? How much is not? If the government, if the tax authority says we can buy a laptop, cool. Now, if they say, hey, you're going to have to buy a laptop and you've got to send us a selfie web shot every 20 minutes to prove that it's being used, then okay, we would follow those rules. Whatever the rules are
that's true.
For proving those things, we will absolutely abide by them.
Yeah, 5 hours per day, it has to be done.
If that's what they want. And like we have so many laptops, so many phones. I think Comedy Estonia owns about 5 PlayStations or something. But it's all, if there was a query said, we could probably do something about it. And if there are queries raised, then we go like, okay, fine.
Yeah. I think the most important part is that you have an overview of all the things you've bought with your company money.
I would imagine the accountant has that.
Yeah.
The accountant keeps that. So she sees the Euronics invoice for another set of headphones and is recording that. I don't know, does something. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Well, does whatever needs to be done. I don't care. Whatever it is. Yeah, hopefully or not. I don't know how it works. So, yeah, it's a good scheme to, people don't want to cash out all their money straight away. They'd typically rather, I'm going to lose 50% if I take it in cash. Sure, maybe I can wait.
Because either way, I'm going to, like, in our Ruutu10, maybe want to go to a festival. You can buy your plane tickets. You can buy for the workshops, for the shows. Like,
now, this brings us to the things that you can't buy with the company money. Okay, first of all, things that you can't buy with company money. Food.
Yeah.
Only a certain amount, which is based off, you can only spend a certain amount of money tax-free every month on food, and that amount is based off how many employees you have. It's a certain number. So we will we'll typically go over that if it's a 2 a month, that amount, and then we know in our budgets that if we buy food, we need to actually mark that in the budget as like 1.5 times because the food, if we're buying like 40, 50 a night it's autumn tour, we're pumping, doing shows every night, a big theater show. It could still, I mean, potentially, right? It could be 30, 40, 50 by the time we buy the wine, little fucking chocolates or whatever, get a little food for everyone backstage. That will go over the amount that you can get tax-free for food, and in which case you basically get taxed at like 1.5. Like if it's 100, then they want 50 extra tax off you or something.
I don't know.
So we then factor that into the budget or something like that. The other things that you typically can't, well, flights. All right. So flights should only be for employees of the company. And if not, then you need to pay 50% tax on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So either you just put a airline invoice too and no one says nothing and no one says nothing about nothing and everything's all right and just don't worry about it. But if it's not an employee, it should be...
Does the employee has to have the... well, there are like two kind of contracts. Like the monthly salary one and... well, actually, both can be monthly salary. I don't know if you understand, like...
Yeah, there's one. I understand what you mean. Like, there's like a one-time payment one or something.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how it works for that.
Yeah.
Because that has a limited time period or something. But, I mean, basically the idea is you're not supposed to buy plane tickets for anyone.
Yeah.
You know, for anyone. It should be, how can you prove that this is a business expense? The easiest way is that they're an employee.
Yeah, that's true. You have to prove it. I think that's the big thing.
Or just do it and, you know, get your accountant to just... Because then the accountant's not your police person either, but they'll be like, hey, this is not, you know, this is... So there's always that give and take in any sort of thing like that. Look, we'll send this one through, but in the future, I think we better, you know, get a bit more legit. So
talk with your accountant. Use that 1 hour consulting.
That's right, to find out what you can do, to find out, yeah. So besides airline tickets, even bus and whatever else, ferry, that's all, you know, that's... Because technically the travel thing probably should extend to bus and ferry as well, but bus and ferry are usually very low cost, where you buy some tickets to Chicago. Did you mention Chicago? That's Chicago.
Yeah.
We went there. Chicago. These guys have been one place and that's all they mention.
Yeah. You don't need to go another place when you've gone to Chicago.
Then it's only because airline tickets cost so much that they will typically be singled out more than like a Buster Tattoo or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the tickets are like 600 to 800 euros when we went there.
Right, so that's going to start attracting attention for those in Chicago. Oh, accounting. So you got, this is it, right? This is what it takes to run the business. This is the ugly, unpretty, boring side of it.
Yeah, this is not what you think when you're just like, I'm going to do some comedy. Wait, let's think about accounting.
Yeah. You got to have that system. It's got to be practical enough. It's got to be, you know, still legal. Trying to balance everything off. It takes a lot of work. Okay. Whew. I need, wait, I'm just going to jump in another room and get another beer. Wait.
All right. This is 1 minute me without Louis. Just watch me sit here.
Stealing the beers from Ari and Mikael, because they're not here to defend their beers.
Is the beer bought with company money?
No, I believe Pitla beer. They provided them.
Oh.
Pitla, so
did you they just sent you or you asked? Can it be ours?
No, I think, well, they were sent to Ari Mikael from Tussisoyed, and they get all kinds of shit.
Oh.
Because, you know, they're famous.
They're popular.
Right. So and then things that are left here. Even this table. If you're seeing on the video, we've got this table here, which a listener sent to Daniel and Roger from Peikas Jankud. They saw this bullshit table that we've got over there. And the listener was just like, hey, can I make you a table? Dan was like, Daniel was like, gave him a pair of sunglasses in return. I was like, oh, Dan. So I wrote to the guy and said, thank you very much. So the table's been designed round. It can take multiple microphones, and then it's got these little cutouts, squares in the middle, so more microphones can be added. It's a tremendous thing. So there's a lot of great people out there. Oi! Oh shit, this beer. Holy shit, did you see that?
How did you open it this way?
It's gonna, no, I just...
Oh!
Okay, this is a mistake.
All right, I've seen you open beer 2 times in my life.
Uh-huh.
Both are disasters.
Well, both of those right now?
Yeah.
I'm here in my Australian bogan singlet today because it's too hot. Oh, so, okay. You guys have been doing the accounting. That's nice. What are we doing this week? Because we've got shows running. I had some the previews from... Sorry?
Want to hear something funny?
Oh, please do.
Yeah, we have... wait, is it this week? I don't remember. This week or the next week, we're going to have a show in a parking lot.
Your parking lot?
Yeah, actually, yeah, we're just doing it outside in front of our studio. It's a kind of nice place to have a show.
I think Rauno was telling me about this. I was talking to him the other night.
Yeah.
But where your studio is in Tondi, there's a car park. It's like enclosed and it's not like on the street and shit.
Yeah. But it still sounds funny.
Yeah.
Doing a show in parking lot, like flash mob.
Yeah, these outside shows, it's we definitely there was that 2 weeks where everything opened up again and there was only outside allowed. So we were doing outside and we were all really fucking sick of outside. Not talking about you, but I'm just, for us, right? So we did the 2 weeks solid of outside and it was still pretty cold then, so that wasn't making it very fun. So we're all just sick of being cold and performing outside. But there's a real difference. It really reminded me and highlighted it to me. Like when you're outside, it can really lack subtlety. It lacks an intimacy. It lacks a feeling of testing material. And we made a joke about this because 2 weekends ago we had a show. We had 2 shows in Pärnu. One was inside at Volk, which is the old Alibi, which is the old Vire next to the bus station. It's great. It's like the 3rd name we've performed in this bar under. Maybe the 4th, I forget. We're like, new owner? Okay, here's how it works. Let us show you around the venue. And then around the corner, we did a show that was far more well attended at Mona, which is this outside place. There's pizza, excellent pizza. But it ends up like a festival. Like people all on the street, just the whole fucking area. We once had a thing a couple of years ago in Teleskivi where we put up the thing. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Similar vibes, right? And we'll do it just once, but there's nothing open mic about it. It is a festival show. And there's no intimacy. There's no possible chance to test and try. It's just like you need to blast away with something that you're pretty sure is going to work if you're in this large outdoor area. Now, again, your inside area very different, but reflecting for us.
Yeah, I agree. Also in like improv, like I'm personally not a fan of doing outside shows for a number of reasons. Also the same reasons you already told, that like people are walking past, and there is also the noise level, the cars, birds, everything like are louder than our performers without microphones.
Oh yeah, without microphones. Oh my God.
You need to yell to be heard. But also like comedy side, like comedy works best if it's a tight crowd sitting next to each other in a room that's filled with people. Outside like doesn't have this.
It's harder to do, even if you could. Maybe there can be courtyards where things are. There can be some really interesting spaces. We've got the Hov in Haapsalu, which is on a corner. So, but even then it's on a little corner and there's a street there, but then there are houses. So it's still sort of enclosed. So it's outdoor, but not there.
What about Viljandi? Cheers? I don't know if it's called Cheers anymore.
Oh, Cheers. So first of all, with Cheers, I'm not sure if it's still called Cheers. So Cheers in Viljandi, if you've never been or known what's up, I mean, I want to say 5 years ago or more, I can't remember, Valta in Viljandi made this venue Cheers. And all credit to Valta Vaha. He's an amazing guy. He's great for the community. Does so much there in Viljandi. And he made a cool club, but it was cooler than Viljandi ever deserved. Cheers was better than Viljandi. And it was far too hip. It was far too, not want to say international's not quite it, but it was far too hip for Viljandi. And it got some people coming, but it never picked up. And I know eventually after, we were there for a whole bunch of times in like 4 different rooms. The front room, the back room, the outside, some weird thing out the back. We tried everything in that space. Good place. But eventually, I think Volta understood that this wasn't going to pop in its current concept. And then I think he sold it. And this is the last I know. I don't want to say this is the truth. But the last I sold it to this bloke who, like, he runs, like, fucking Club Comeback in Otepää. I don't know if he owns these places, but he owns other rural countryside clubs. And you start saying the sort of types of names like Club Comeback or maybe Club Tatu in, these country, like when you go and you just like not like there was going to put a burger thing out the back and there's going to be less, new techno and more koitome and more smilers being played and making it more retro, mainstream. And I don't know how that's doing, but I know that sort of he bought it looking to make it less, basically less hip and more salt of the earth. And for sure, like talking about show business being hard, I don't know the results, but I'm pretty sure it would have done better. And not because Volta was doing a fantastic job, right? But ahead of his time, you might say. And even we see that even now in Pärnu, going back to the venue I was talking, what is now Volk, next to the train station. Originally, it was Vire. And that was, I don't know if it was something before Vire. I don't remember. That was like craft beer. Like back when the craft beer revolution was hot, they were going to bring it to Pärnu. It was a craft beer bar, meant to be something like Pudel in Tallinn and something like that. Couldn't really get there. Also, Pärnu never works in winter. It's tough to get through winter, tough to get through. So then it became Alibi, which was less craft beer, more rock, more a little bit like that, but still a little crafty, like a little bit. And again, they didn't survive pandemic, unfortunately. So it's not really down to them. And now there's a place in there called Volk. And look, God bless the guy, but he serves premium on tap. And that's all you need to know about doing business in the countryside is that after all these years, it's premium on tap. And it'll probably work right on. Like, it'll probably be,
what is premium on tap?
Premium, Alcock premium.
Oh, right.
Pardon me, I say accent.
All right. I thought premium. When you said tap, it's like tap water.
Oh, tap water. Premium tap water.
That was like, what?
So kind of that's been my observation, that there will be these outliers, these forethinkers, these big thinkers who want to set something up in the countryside, and we're trying to support and salute them. But I can also see the reality that after a while, it's like, we just sell Alcock now. It's okay. Better for money.
Yeah, that's what you like. Yeah, I listened to an art podcast where they talked about you gotta, like in an artist perspective, but I feel it also suits here that you gotta give something new, which kind of is the same.
Something old.
Yeah, something old with a little bit of something new. Because it's all new, it's too scary, too frightening to take it. But
we've even seen I'm trying to think to like classic venues that we've been at a lot over the years. And I'm even thinking of Pubi Judas in Turva. So Turva, way down, next to Village Helmer. You work it out, okay? Said enough about the area. And when we started to do that place, I mean, it's a cool, very, again, a project of a labor of love by the guys there, just trying to make a cool place in fucking Turva for people to come to. And, something. It's still Alcock, but something good, right? Some reasonable place. And when we started to do shows there like 5 years ago, it was like the scene, it was wild. It was like the scene in the Blues Brothers where they roll up to the bar and there's the chicken wire in front of the stage because the fucking bikers are throwing the bottles. That was Turva 5 years ago. A fight broke out in the middle of Ardo's set.
What?
Ardo, of all people. And now when we go, it's delightful. Nice people there. They sit down, they watch, they have a beer, like how the demographic changes or how different people are coming to our stand-up or something. But we used to all be like, all right, like we put the war paint on, like, all right, we love it. We're going to go do the show with Torva. Let's fucking go. And now it's very nice, polite people, applauding when we say something funny.
You don't need to bring the bulletproof glass
Not
anymore.
Yeah. So things can change, things can evolve. Scenes, it is possible to do these things.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, do you ever, like, I hear you going to those small cities doing shows. Does the venue approach you, or you just say we're looking at a venue in this small town with 10,000 people?
Typically, at that level, that's probably the venue reaching out to us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not looking at the map of Estonia and going, Torva, this is the key to our plans. This is, if only there was an alternative pub in Torva, we would have it made. People write to us all the time. If you're in Tallinn, we probably know about you already. We want to see, because we're always looking for a new open mic venue. We're always looking for, we're very specific. We've got a lot of really specific requirements. Probably won't fit your venue, but we'll talk to you and check it out and explain to you. Or sometimes it can be good, but we don't have an opening. We don't need a new open mic venue right now. So we're like, thank you, but we'll come to you. And look, and that could come, and then they leave a little bit disappointed, but it'll be like next week that we're like, oh shit, something happened. Some venue closed. Now we need, like, we're not just fobbing people off when we're like, maybe we need something, But in the countryside, it's probably more like venues saying like, hey, we've got this new community center. We've got this new bar. We've got this. And then they, somehow we're alerted to it, and then we check it out and we leave it as an option.
But when you were smaller, I understand, like, doing shows in Tallinn or Tartu, but which was the next city you went to?
How do we? Okay,
Yeah,
I see where we're going. I see. It's almost like he's asking questions for Ruutu10 here. It's tough to break out, right? It's tough to get out there. Something like Torva might even happen because I think we even had a connection to the owner or something. So this helps, not that you need to be in their club, but just that, more time you can explain, or maybe there is more of a motivation to do it. Like, hey, I know this guy, let's just go do a show, help him out, so we don't have this expectation of a lot. But, okay, the question was, how do you break out of the cities? How do you get into the smaller places? Good question. How do we make... So Pärnu was definitely the first, and we really banged our head against the wall for ages in Pärnu. Still trying to make even the second city work, because even the venues are lacking there. See, that's why we're still in Vire, Alibi, Volk, years on and 17 venue managers later, because we know the place, we know the setup, we know, boom, 2 lights, this, that, and we're good. The rest of it we don't care about. So even finding a proper venue can be difficult. People keep coming in here. People keep opening our door for some reason.
I didn't see anyone approach from the door.
Climbing
from the window.
Maybe. So how to attack? I go so what your attack lines would be: Pärnu, Viljandi. If you can find the right space, Rakvere has always been very good to us. Buena Vista Sofa Club has been nice, a little bit outside the center, but that's nice. Where else to go for? Because there's also, would we go there and do like a cafe or a bar comedy night, or would we go there and only do the theater show? So, but then again, when I sit back here with our beer and my singlet, we've beaten our head against the wall in so many small towns. I'm thinking about Paide when we performed, like, on the outside stage, maybe something about the Armastus, the Opinion Festival. And like, we were performing before a clown, and the crowd loved the clown way more than us. And then later on the day, we did this other show that only 3 people turned up to, but we were drunk and we just did it anyway and had fun. So there's a lot of, I mean, even on the weekend, I mean, we did Ardo's show in Haapsalu on the Friday, and there's about 30 people there. The venue didn't quite suit it, and it was a hot, no one was really going to come inside on the hot afternoon, and we're really finding the days can be so up and down right now. So not everything is this instant, huge sellout, and there is some idea that you're going to have to go and scope out some, you'll find some place that maybe there's a switched on venue manager. He runs a little bar, he knows the place, and he's like, I'm going to help you because I'm in the community, and he wants Comedy Estonia to come. So that can help rather than, us just renting a room and kind of doing it on our own. It's more, so the places where we would do a bar, cafe, restaurant show are even pretty limited. Pardonu, okay. Rakvere, we still do the theatre, but then there's a couple other small places in Rakvere, possibly. Buena Vista, Viljandi, they've got that whole Roman centre now, which I haven't been to. There's the Leno, the Plain place as well. It helps to have someone who's local. And this could be a switched on, cool, hip venue manager who's a young person who's looking after that in that town, and they know, or maybe one of your people come from that town. Can be tough if you don't have any local knowledge, which is interesting, even in this small country. We live in Tallinn, but we need local knowledge about Rakvere. It's still important. Yeah. So what are the challenges you're finding right now then?
Well, the same. Well, I'm also wondering, like, why should we?
Oh, I like it. Why should we? Okay, that's
like, because it's like, well, we have to drive there, like, the driving. But it's extra time, and if we don't have anyone there to like market or put up posters or invite her, like, I don't think it will go well. So why should we add workshops and shows to that city? Like, we could get more. I think right now we're trying to fill out our Tallinn and Tartu shows and workshops, so we'll figure those out before, and maybe then reach, but I don't know.
It's important. Okay, so first of all, it's important to get your Tallinn and Tartu shit in order. If it's almost like if it's been a year and all that, fair enough. Okay, time to get that in order. Don't let it take too much. Then the question is, why go to some countryside place? For us, it was because we think that we want to take our shit all around the country. That we don't want to just be a group that only performs in Tallinn and Tartu.
It's a company vision.
Yeah, even almost a little bit arrogantly in our charming Comedy Estonia arrogance, that we were like, we're going to go do shit nobody else does. And I'm thinking of things for us, even like when we did that show, when we had an open mic for like 6 months or a year in Lasnamäe. No one's doing events in Lasnamäe. You can see some guy called Sergei from Russia performing at Tondi Raba Hall, right? But there's no, or at least as I'm aware, very few. Just entertainment, a band, a singer, or something. Nothing's happening there. And it took us a while. We couldn't really find a place. And we found this place called Well Club, some weird Russian disco above the Läänemere Keskus there. And just thankfully, I think the owner was a bit confused by us, but the bar staff, the bar chicks knew who we were, and they were like super into it. And they said, no, just do it. And we kind of made it a Friday thing so people could drive. There's a car park, and we're sort of going. We found that most people were driving. Like, we made it a location that you could drive and park. And it didn't, eventually that place shut down. I suspect he may have been laundering money. Who knows? I just made that up. That's not a real accusation. But it's one of those places of like, you're just like, how the fuck does this still run? How is this still existing? But we were getting some people. Some nights were like 10, but some were like 100. Some were like 80. And that was pretty popping. And I remember being extremely proud that we managed to run an event, even if it was for 6 months, in the place that no one else is doing it. Like, we want to be a little bit smug and be like, you know what, guys, it's possible. Just go do it. Just try. But, okay, we're doing that from a position, an ahead position. We're doing that because we can right now, because we put that work in. I'm not proposing that. But I also don't think it's as hard as everyone thinks it is.
Might be. Yeah.
So what's your goals? What's your vision? Where do you want this group? What impact do you want this group to have? But it's tougher in the countryside.
I think one reason why we are in two cities because our performers live in two cities.
Sure. Yeah. Makes sense. You got to get everyone. That's why we don't typically have open mics. We do like a little bit now in Pärnu just because we want to, but no Rakvere open mic, no Viljandi open mic because of logistics of travel. So that is harder to get everyone there and get everyone back. If it's just open mic, then... So, yeah, to get everyone to Rakvere and back is a little bit trickier. I agree, to Viljandi and back a little bit trickier.
Yeah.
So... I do remember driving to random towns and just driving around trying to find poster boards to put up our posters. Now there's usually maybe some local person, you speak to the venue, maybe there's a local guy who can go around and do it for you for $30 or something. You know, if you send him the posters, he'll put them up for $30 or something. How to market in each individual town, super hard to know.
Yeah.
You've got to almost learn that. And one thing that we do right now, Merrily and I did this on one of our tours. I want to say it was probably 4 years ago on Stand Up on Scene. And this sounds really obvious, but what we did, so we're trying to sell this before Comedy Estonia had really popped, I would say. We're trying our first national tours. We're trying to do shows in Valga, trying to do shows in Paide, trying to do shows in all sorts of fucked up places. And one really powerful bit of information that we did is I just kept track of the sales. Like I would just log on to Piletilevy or whatever and, you know, today here are the sales and next day here are the sales and put it into a graph. And then you get a graph over time of your sales and then you take that graph and you match it up with when you did marketing activities or when something happened. Okay, here's the graph, but on this day, Ari said something stupid and, you know, everyone reacted. So that was a media event. You can see a spike. And we put the posters out that day and you can see the bump. Or there was no bump. Hey, that was when the ad went out and there was no bump. What's up with that? And that knowledge that we did like even 3 years ago was crucial for us to establishing in new towns, learning that. And now we're good. And actually now I'm doing it for Ari's tour, for our summer tour. I'm tracking Facebook attendings. I'm tracking sales. And I just track the raw numbers. I don't know how to use Excel and do graphs. And none of that shit I don't know how to do, right? Merrily can use Excel. She's trained from EBS. They teach him how to do that there. I don't know what they teach at EBS.
Excel.
A lot of Excel shit. All I do, my job is to 3 times a week extract the Facebook attendings and the sales. And then we've got that data that you can then put on a graph and you can see, okay, how did it go? And you'll learn a
correlation
lot.
Between those.
Exactly. And then you learn for the next tour what made an effect or, look, you know, Valga, we're just fucking banging our head against the wall. Or they all buy in the last minute or what's going on. You try to map other events on fucking the festival. Some other thing was on the week before. So, of course, that got the attention.
To approach Ari like... say something stupid in Facebook. We need those ticket sales.
It's not exactly the conversation, but look, as I understand this whole well, the marketing that's working right now is the whole interview that he did. Birgit Susanna.
I looked at it.
You're right. And look, I don't feel like this is anything that you can't all guess, but you know, it's like, hey, why don't we just imply that there's something going on between Ari and Birgit, and then that'll be more news articles.
Yeah. All the female are worked up.
Right. Then it goes nuts. So Birgit Susanna has a new thing with whoever it is the next week. And that's her cycle, right? But look, I don't want to give too much of the smoke and mirrors away, but that was literally a conversation. How about we play this up a little bit because that'll get more traction on social media, and seems like it did. Right. And it's all bullshit.
Well, I lost my conversation with Ari.
So it's I don't know. I feel like I just felt like it's one of those things, getting to the countryside and getting your act established in the countryside. It's a lot of hard work. You have to really think of the goal, have to really have the vision in your mind about why we're doing all this work and where we're going with this. But on the other hand, for me, it was like, what if we don't do this? If we don't do this, what? Well, will we stay in Tallinn and Tartu and that's it? We don't ever get out around the country. We don't ever make a bigger impact. I think we didn't want to do that either.
Did do. Yeah. Do you also like in the future plan to go to other countries?
No.
All right.
No.
Do you want to be in Estonia your whole life?
No. Okay, other countries, no, because if you think it's hard to just go to Rakvere, you try going to a whole other country. So there's certainly, we have the group Comedy Latvia, but I can definitely attest how much difficult it is for me to guide and help those group of comedians when I'm 4 hours away in another country. How hard it is to know even the little cultural differences between Estonia and Latvia. You go like, yeah, same. But what was very interesting to us during pandemic is we've got our bullshit government in Estonia that changes like a merry-go-round and pretty weak. I don't know, Kaya came in and fixed some shit up. I don't want to comment on the politics, but let's at least say before Kaya, shit was pretty weak. And Yuri was like, oh, I don't know, I guess you guys can still go out. Like, I don't want to say nothing bad and be popular. So yeah, you guys can stay in the bars, right? And then Mum got in charge and had to fucking clean it all up for us. Nevertheless, so we've got a government here that's sort of like, yeah, I guess 50%, go out, see how you do. You know, it was pretty, like, we think it was tough. Pretty easy on us. Compare that to Latvia. Lockdown hard. They couldn't go to the supermarket on like a Sunday or some shit. They were closing stores.
Like Spain.
Locked down. Government saying, nah, maybe autumn we'll open up again. Like the government was sending just the worst, the heaviest message. It's going to be long. We're not promising lockdown. They didn't get really, we got like a little chance in the middle last summer to do some shows. They didn't really get nothing. The whole time they were locked down in their houses or like way harder and a way more pessimistic message from the government than Estonia. And we were talking with the colleagues in Riga who helped me with Comedy Latvia. And we're like, Estonia, Latvia, they can't be that different. I mean, okay, there's a few more Russians in Latvia. You know, shit's a little bit more backward there, but it's not significantly different on a worldwide stage.
Yeah.
But we're hearing significantly different words from the government about when this shit's going to end, about how we're going to be, about all of that. And it was very interesting for us week by week to get the check-in from Riga and hear, and we're like, yeah, we're partying in Tallinn, woo, everything's, and they're like, we are in home, have not seen sun for weeks. So even little perspectives like that gave us some, you know, in the middle, we're able to find the truth, you know, to not believe one government necessarily over the other. You know, in Latvia, oh, here's a good one. I mean, I know we talk about Corona nonstop, but so in Latvia, the way that they're dealing with the vaccines and shit is that they're heavily leaning into vaccination, right? And that if you want to do things, you need to be vaccinated.
All right.
So here in Estonia, anyone, like right now, no masks. You could have COVID, but you'd be walking around, right?
Yeah.
There's still technically the 50% rule on venues, but no one's really, only theaters are worrying about that now. We're basically good to go, open for business. Latvia's rules are, if you decide as the venue, as the organizer, that you're going to ask for vaccine passports at the door, you can do whatever you want. So if you say, hey, we're going to designate this a vaccine event, whatever you want, 100%, no masks, everyone jerking each other off in the middle, like it's fine. The whole thing's fine.
You can organize an orgy.
Orgy, great. We encourage it. Visit Latvia, orgies are happening. But if you even one person enters who is not vaccinated, 50%, masks, 2+2, only family members sit together. Heavy rules if you're going to go that road. Where Estonia is just like, fuck it. everyone's open now, right? We don't care. And and you might say like, oh, that's great. Hey, it's not that hard to check a vaccine. You get a little thing on your phone. And as you're walking in, show me your ticket. Cool. Please show me your vaccine to, whatever the fucking thing they have on their phone. Mm-hmm. All right. The comings and goings are not that hard. But what it makes venue managers choose, am I running a vaccine event or not a vaccine event? And obviously most of them are going to go for a vaccine event. But that's a choice now that the organizer has to make.
Yeah.
And I don't want that pressure. I don't want some cunts at the door being like, let me fucking done. Yeah, let me in anyway. I just kind of like our system, even though we're still at 50% for theaters, I reckon we're going to get that lifted before the end of summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the responsibility will be on the organizer.
Yeah, how would you feel about that? It was like you can only do vax at the door. You got to show your vax certificate.
Yeah, it's extra. It's extra work. If I would be an organizer, I have to and the venue, I have to choose the vaccinated. Now I have to check it, and I also have to deal with those who aren't agreeing with this. It's more stress. And they will blame the organizer for not doing the non-vaccinated event or vice versa.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, not the government.
So it's tough. I mean, and I'm just trying to highlight that you've got two governments who should essentially be the same, right? Not really that different in the grand scheme of things, but very different strategies that they've taken, which will very much affect different events. I think there's a few mics happening now, but I'm not sure what they're doing. Because, it's midsummer as well. So, okay, there's not that much happening right now.
Yeah, I don't know how it's with the law from Latvia. I really don't listen to news anymore or watch. I should. There was a period I watched more, but sometimes in the radio. And there was I don't know if a debate or a discussion. If a person flies to Estonia, could they only vaccinated person could come or not? Old, but it's against the the main law, whatever.
They've still got to quarantine. They've still got to.
Yeah, but the law doesn't allow the. Because how is põhiseadus?
I love how everyone's just answered you in their podcast, not realizing, no, he can't hear me.
Write it in the comments and I will do nothing. But it's Estonia can't force that only people with vaccination can come in.
Oh, some constitutional shit they've pulled
exactly, a constitution.
Right,
so
they've said that. So that's why we're not doing that here.
And I mean, I keep thinking does that also apply for the venue thing? Because now it's the business owner decides if I want to do it this way or the other way.
No, only in Latvia.
Yeah.
Not here.
Yeah, not
here. There's
here.
nothing. There's no. It's just 50% technically, which.
I'm just fantasizing. Does the constitution, I don't know, dictates that in some way?
That's an interesting one. Okay, what if it's not vax, right? What if I just say only people who were born on a Tuesday can come to this event?
Yeah.
I want to choose something that's not gender or sex or some other well-known preference.
Only people with sunglasses.
Yeah, only people with sunglasses who say bananas 3 times a day can come in, or something. Can I choose something arbitrary, or is what is arbitrary? Because gender's not arbitrary. Race is not arbitrary.
Yeah.
Apparently vax is not. Apparently vax is on the thing. You know what I mean? We can't just be I'm making a choice as a private individual. It's kind of gone beyond that.
Yeah. In my event, only sexy women. That's why we don't have so much audience.
All people are invited to even ugly men are invited to Ruutu10 events. It's okay.
Yeah, especially to our workshops. You can find a friend.
We've been going for an hour 15.
Yeah.
We're going for a little while. It's hot. Been going.
Yeah, we're gonna have an open mic
Yes.
soon.
So we got Philly Joe's. You got a spot?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Luckily.
Nice.
I need to be in the first half so I can catch my bus back to
That's
Tartu.
fair enough. Did you tell someone already?
Yeah,
Or-
I tell in the Facebook comments.
Excellent.
We'll see.
Actually, this is a good one to wrap us up because we're actually looking to move away from the sign up on Facebook.
Oh.
Because there seems to be some errors.
Yeah.
That usually we have a Facebook group and we just make a little private event for every event, and then if you want to sign up, you got to put your name on that event. But Facebook seems to be having problems.
We moved our community to Discord from Facebook to Discord.
Oh, this is a good one. Okay, good. Let's talk because this is
Yeah,
relevant.
yeah.
Okay. So what you want is a sign up thing, right? You've got events, and then people need to be like, please me. So we need a way that people can do that. That also needs to be free text. So I can be like, please me first half. It can't just be yes or no, is my point. I'm trying to get through the requirements that we're working through. Events and some comment. Yes, please, me please. First half or only if something or whatever. The problem that I find with Discord is two. Because I've had this whole chat with Johannes who was trying to work this through me today. First of all, so if you want sign up on Discord, the problem is that if it's a chat, so if I write me please, it goes up the screen and you lose it. That a chat platform isn't as good for static data, or am I missing something about the way they work?
No, but there are, I think, workarounds. For one, for example, here, I'm not so Discord expert, just moved there, had some instructions given, but things that I'm thinking, first, you'll have, if you're adding members to your Comedy Estonia Discord, you can add a role, open micer.
Okay.
So you could put at open micers, so everyone with that role can get a notification that.
Okay, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I agree.
That we have a registration for this Philly Joe open mic. Then you can also pin this message. So at the right top corner, there's the pin. If you click it, you'll see that immediately.
Okay.
So it will be always there. And then you could probably in order to answer, you gotta reply. And also make a rule to this channel that no other talk.
Right. That was what got me, that it's too easy to chat. And then all of a sudden, some comedians say some dumb shit, and then that thing's gone up.
So here's what how Discord channel usually, how we done it in Ruutu10, how I've seen other Discord channels do, that you have dumb shit channels.
Sure. Okay.
So there are rules that you don't, for example, we have the chat channel. Where's the rule? You don't put pictures or memes in those channels. Only text only. So we have a meme channel over there. You can share others minor podcasts over there. This is where we only chat. So you make this rule, and then how you can if they don't. Here's the problem: if the person doesn't read the rules, well, they are probably you if I'm thinking about open micers, there aren't that many. It's not thousands of people, so it'll be a couple of, you can delete their message and remind them no. Keep, you'll have the channel and you'll have the description always on top there, so it will always say the rules. So here's my thoughts.
All right, because we have been discussing, do we use a chat, more chat platform like Discord or Slack, or do we use another? So do we use another platform which is more, let's say, comment oriented, forum oriented than chat oriented? So we've gone for the more forum comment oriented thing. So the new system that I'm designing, that it's still our idea, but this is what we're trialing right now, is just I've got a calendar plugin, shows your calendar. On the day there's an event, there's a thing, you click on it, you click into that, and there's some information, and then basically comments. like you would expect comments on any web page. And those comments are going to work like this, like we do right now. You write me, you write, I would like to sign up for this. And then, there is a sign-in issue there. If you just write your name in your email, the cookie keeps it for a while, so that hopefully is not too bad. Or we're going to let them sign in if they want. But if you just write Lewis at Zezeran, the cookie will keep that for next time you sign up for the most part. I'm then going to write a little extra thing. So that's almost it. That's almost all we need if you think about the way you sign up with Comedy Estonia. The only thing that would be really great is notification.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is write a plugin, write a little hack so that if you're an admin, there's a button that says email everyone on this thread. So Helle can come along 2 days before and say, Daniel, Rauno, Martin, everybody's on the list. And when they click that, everyone who's commented will get that email. Will get a version of that in their email. And if you haven't put your email address in, well, then you don't get a notification. Tough luck. So put your email, leave it in the cookie, and it'll do that. And then you get a notification, hey, check this.
Yeah, I understand. But I'm going to challenge that.
Right, please do. Please do.
So I don't know if it's the right way. It's just a discussion. So I will tell you this, that maybe you've gotten used to the Facebook system. So that's how you're trying to implement the same system to other platforms.
Absolutely, we're trying to do that.
Yeah,
yes.
But maybe should think up another system that works very well with that other platform.
I'm open to your general thought that you're like, okay, we're just basically copying the Facebook thing, and maybe there's a better way to solve this problem. I hear you. All right. Number one, I don't think chat-based solutions are a better solution.
I'm not saying that.
That's fine. Cool. So the other option with chat-based Discord, I don't think they're a better solution. However, is there in somewhere else a better solution? Yes, I'm sure of it. What I'm trying to do, first of all, because I think the greatest move is getting everyone off Facebook into our new app. And so my idea is to make our new app as straightforward as possible. Because also, and this is a lesson, I think, this is a lesson about how to work with groups of people. If you're in a company and the company says, here's our new way to do this. Oh, okay, I'm in the company. This is the tool we use now. Cool. We're not a company. We've got I have to have people from Ari and Mikhail through to you, through to some random person who just wants to sign up. Hey, I want to come to Comedy Estonia open mic and do a show. Cool. Sign up to Slack. Nah.
Do you have Discord? Make one.
Yeah, install the Discord app, do that, learn Discord, learn how channels work, learn rules.
Yeah, it's much work.
I'm trying to replicate the Facebook as closely as possible, and then over time tweak it to be different.
But maybe to integrate it with your web page, your homepage. Have you thought about that?
What's the advantage of that?
So I've seen like my art communities are moving rather than like it used to be like you're in a Facebook art community, you'll post your drawing of the curriculum or whatever you're doing, people can give feedback, and there's like the moderators and so on, but they're now moving away from Facebook to web pages. So you'll have the same kind of system but way better organizations. Like for example, in a drawing, like this is our anatomy feedback, so you'll post there your anatomy studies, or this is my promotional pictures or whatever. So you'll have this all categorization. So for example, you could like make a Tallinn open mics and Tartu open mics. You'll have like more versatile, and people like you can post, you can also comment on that post, and you'll have more control or easier control.
Sure. So we need a groupware solution that's not Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm with you, and that stuff could be interesting. I think the thing that I'm thinking about right now is like on the ground, what's the most practical thing that I can do
easiest
to make sure that these people continue on and they can carry on without. And I do see the argument that if you make one big change, you educate everyone, that can sometimes be easier than just change it all in one go and they'll fucking get used to it in a month and it's fine.
Or make it in TikTok.
Oh yeah, that's what it needs to be. TikTok. How can we? Jesus, now the Chinese are going to know about everything.
Okay.
All of a sudden,
Sign up to Philly Joe.
all of a sudden, Pinchon's fucking getting a spot on every mic. My solution is extremely basic and does not cover all of our use cases. It is designed to solve one thing and one thing only: signing up for open mics. It's not a robust community with channels and areas and stuff like that. And so the point was made to me, well, people are still going to chat in Facebook. I'm like, yeah, I understand. That's fine. I'm not trying to be a chat platform. I just want a place where they can sign up. Now, could this evolve into some sort of intranet of comedians where there is information and videos and channels and all sorts of stuff? Could be. Which is why my requirement that this solution should run on WordPress. Because if it's based off a WordPress site, then there's more possibilities, put more plugins, write some extra shit, and add more things over time. So I'm trying to use as much default WordPress functionality as possible and just bit by bit introduce this. That's the theory there.
Yeah, and your webpage also works on WordPress.
It does, but our webpage is going to be separate. It's not going to be integrated into the website because it doesn't need to be. Actually, it's better. All this like sign-ups and new plugins, I want that well away from our main website. I don't want that fucking with the web shop. I don't want that fucking with our main website. I want a whole other instance because it doesn't need to be connected. I mean, maybe have a link, sure, or something, but I don't need them physically in the same WordPress instance. Because I need to fuck around with that, and then maybe I need to blow away. I don't want someone signing up and then they get some privilege escalation issue, and then all of a sudden they can log in and edit everything. I'm going to keep them physically separate.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're working on that right now.
All right. I'm interested to see what's gonna happen, how it's gonna work out. Probably a lot of bugs and errors.
Absolutely, because I'm rolling a lot of this, trying to use plugins, then I got to roll something myself. I got to program something myself. Because I like to program things. I like to. It's like because when you program, there's an end. It works. I like the being definite. So we're on this little journey right now. We know we need to get away from Facebook
Or make an sign-up app.
On the phone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, it already works on mobile. If you take an easy WordPress theme, it already works on mobile really well. So you don't have to worry about that.
Nice.
Got it in the bag. Got it covered. I'll license it out to Ruutu10 when I've developed it.
When we need sign-ups. Open mic sign-ups.
Whew. All right. We geeked out at the end big time there. But we figure if you're listening, this is what you're in for. If you really want to know about growing people and you're into it, and there's the 10 people, like the 10 people who are really into this are really fucking into this. So that's why we kind of go deep on these episodes.
Yeah. If you look, I don't know if you are, for your shows, you talked about like you take the ticket sales and marketing. Do you do this for the podcast?
No. No, we don't have. I don't know what individually we do with such analytics about where people are listening and what's up.
Need to get this podcast more popular. Ari, say something stupid.
Yeah, man. So should we wrap it up there? So
Yes.
you got a spot on Philly Joe's.
Yeah.
It's 19. It's at 7:00.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of time.
It's my third open mic this summer.
Good, and I've seen Rauno come.
Yeah,
Rauno,
we're
not Rauno Kusik, but Rauno Meronen.
Yeah, we're doing our comedy party thing.
Right.
So we tell our jokes and give feedback. And I made this. I love doing stand-up now because I see I'm growing more than I'm growing in improv because probably I've done less stand-up. But I think I made a huge breakthrough my breakthrough is that stand-up is theater.
Ooh, that's cool. Cool. Okay.
Because
theater.
yeah.
Explain that more.
So it's a performance. You're not, let's say, I'm talking. You are performing. If I'm, yeah, the last open mic I watched specifically for that thing, is that what is the energy level of the performer, and how he does the bits. And if I compare the like the comedy Estonia guys who've done longer, like their energy is higher. They do more emotional, like moving more. When I see a newer guy, is like more quieter.
Sure.
Yeah.
Less animated.
Yeah,
sure,
less. Yeah. So yeah, that's. I didn't look at it this way, but now this is the thing I'm working on with my open mics now, is to get more energy into it, being more theatrical and more a performer. Yeah,
I think that's it. And it doesn't mean that you need to just be high energy and Mr. Hey, go on, guys. Energy doesn't mean that you need to just be at 100% and just blasting like some American talk show host.
That's true.
But you can work on physicality more in your acting out a little bit to help to sell that. Yeah. Maybe the positivity, maybe the emotions that you show, maybe that.
Yeah. Like, if I look at Ari, he's like maxed out on emotions.
And he's really worked on that.
Yeah,
because he's absolutely focused, said, I'm going to work on my physicality. And that's what he's done.
Good, yeah.
And you see how that adds to the act, how much that personality, rather than just standing there. And like even Sander, like, has put a motion in. He's got he's got little bits. But even with Sander, because at first, Sander just stood there with a microphone held somewhere below his chest and did his lines. Yeah. And it was, he's so good that it worked. But I was like, hey, Sander, occasionally just step to the right occasionally. And then come back and then step to the left. Just add small movement to your act. Because there was this whole theater show going on where Sander would stand there. And it was so good that it worked. And I was like, but just try a little bit of this, just try a bit. And then, I guess it does come more naturally to some comedians and others. Yeah,
when I perform with improv, like it's like second nature that I just not walking there, hey, let's do a show. I'm more like, hey, everybody, showtime, let's do it. But when I did stand up, I didn't do that. I'm like, yep, it's a joke. All right. But now I'm trying, working on that part.
Okay, so add more energy, more physicality, more than just the words.
Yeah, I wrote the jokes. Now it's time to learn how to perform them.
Now it's time how to sell them.
Sell them, yeah.
Got to sell.
Yeah, I think that's also a big part why. Maybe you are different, but when somebody asks, hey, do stand up, tell us joke.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to do that because when I tell that joke on a stage, it's like a performance. It feels super weird to do a performance to a guy who's asking in a conversation about a joke.
Like, what am I supposed to do? Have a one-liner ready to say to you? That's the functional equivalent of me rolling up to a group of Estonians and going, hi, I'm Lewis. And they're like, say something in Estonian. And I'm like, no. No. You just want me to say a line so you can go, dance, monkey. It's the same thing.
Yeah. You can always ask what he's doing for a living, and maybe he's an electrician, and can you fix my electrical wires?
Maybe. Yeah. Just fix a little, hey, my watch or something. Yeah. I got these two wires here. Can you just stick them together? All right, let's do it. We're going to end it. We're going to go see the show. Martin, thank you for another episode.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks, everyone. Ciao.